going under that somebody will tell you about, man.
I can use I can use the N-word. I just got permission to use the N-word right here. Okay.
Who knows?
That's all I want. That's one of the streets I want.
You want that?
You
need to go to Chancellor
to tell me that I have permission to use the N-word. I got to carry it like my permit.
Have somebody validate it for you, man. Have somebody validate it.
I'm going to have an N-permit card.
So Grant talked about needing a brother to validate him and stamp him so he can use the N-word and have an N-word carrying card. So I wanted to hop right into what my spirit led me today. What Grant was talking about was a rites of passage. A rites of passage for him as a 63-year-old billionaire white man to use this term that the black community has been endeared to. We've been literally addicted to this term nigga, derived from nigger. So that is no rites of passage. There is no glory in that. And there's two lessons. There's two parts to this. I just need y'all to follow me. Share this. Everybody share this. YouTube, Instagram, share this. Short comment, like. But allow me to expound before you jump to any conclusions about anything. Allow me to expound on this Malcolm X Day. Malcolm X behind us, live here from the Black House of Legacy Center in Atlanta. You got this word, nigger/nigger, that Grant, Cardone, and Patrick Bet-Davis joked about probably in naivete, ignorance, I think less being insensitive. I don't even think that is my own opinion, that they even know it's insensitive. For Grant to say it, for Patrick to give it fire and feed into it and give it fuel, to laugh about it, it'll be as insensitive if Nazi descendants said, I just want to use the Jewish slur. I just want to use the Jewish slur. I just need a card as a Nazi descendant to use the Jewish slur. It would be equivalent to that for many of us, right? So there is a Grant, Cardone, and the likes. Then folks who think that it's light, think that it's cool, etc. There's a he accountability, but there is also a very, very big. I need another one of these, King. A black one, please. Not one, a black one. There's no black ones. Oh, right there. Aha, 2 black ones. Thank you, King. There is a self-accountability. This is what I'm on, right? But check this out. Our community fights to use this word. In the beginning was the word. Words have power. We are running around here acting like everything in the world doesn't have a name. Everything has a name. And not just to identify it, every name means something. These words have power, and we've been obsessed, addicted to these words. So much so that people whose ancestors enslaved us, raped us, oppressed us, all that, can joke in this day and age about using that word. All because we've diluted it, because we're not understanding. Think about this. Our slave masters use this word, nigger. They use colored, right? Boy, monkey. These were the words to describe us, to what Malcolm said, degrade us, to make us feel less than, to dehumanize us. This lesson's for black people and white people. If Grant hops on, I'll pull him in a second. But I want everybody to actually learn and follow me for a second. This word has way more power than the black community gives it, and way more power than the white community understands, based on them watching us, saying, how can it be so bad and offensive if they call to each other all day? If they say it on a basketball court, they say it in the songs. How can this word, I can imagine what a Grant and white community culture, or a non-black or non-African American community, I can imagine them looking at us. Imagine if Jews ran around calling themselves Jewish slurs all day. Or Mexicans, or Irishmen, or anybody else. There's no other culture in the world that runs around and calls themselves the slurs from their former, and actually even current today, oppressors. The name they gave them. Nobody does that but us. So I can imagine them saying, man, I can laugh and joke about it because they don't care, don't bother them, but guess what? those of us who haven't evolved or grown yet or whatever, because I was just 5 years ago, 6 years ago, still saying the word. I abandoned the word. I revoked the word. I evicted the word. Because this word has too much power. Will we let Grant and Pat or anybody else joke around and be like, hey, I just want to call them monkeys. I just want to call them colored. I just want to call them boys. Would that be acceptable? Would that be okay? It's not about, and the lesson here is we have to first understand that we got to abandon this social degradation and this spell they have on us through this word. It wasn't niggas and it means king. No, king in West Africa is nene in most tribes. Don't bring some other Ethiopian African word, niggas, N-E-G-U-S, and try to say, oh, that's what they meant. Our oppressors and kidnappers were not calling us niggas. They were calling us niggers. And guess what? I'm 42 years old, and my parents, who grew up in the 60s and 70s, they were calling them niggers. And my parents' parents, who grew up in the 40s and 50s, you know what they were calling them? Niggers. And before them, our great-great-grandparents, the ones who just came out of enslavement, the ones in Black Wall Street, they were calling them niggers. And we still running around here like some little niggers who can't get rid of their slave masters' language and spell. So when our slave masters' descendants, heirs, children, when they see us, we can't, when they see us wallowing in our degradation, this is not what Jay Morrison said. This is what Malcolm X said. I don't think you see Malcolm X right here, King. This is what Malcolm X said. He said we suffer from political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. The economic exploitation is kind of like when white businesses, white-owned businesses, Maine, corporate America, big brands, Grant, come in and pay black faces to tap dance on stage or act cool and black, do things like that, also we could become 50% of their audience, as you said in your other video, with 50% of your audience, 50% of your customers, 50% of your revenue, 50% of your, right? That's business. I get it. It's called cultural appropriation. It's called code switching. I don't knock you, Grant, for code switching. I code switch. That's how I got from Sotheby's International Realty to starting my own company, Keller Williams, Caldwell Banker, right? That's how I started the Reg A Tier 2 fund, qualified by the SEC, was being a 3-time felon, literally from the hood, but we had a code switch, but to your culture. See, I know how to code switch up to your culture. I'm a 42-year-old black man with no college education, really from the trap. And I can code switch to your culture. And what you're saying is, hey, I get money code switching down to their culture. So cool, sit on the Rolls Royces, bring all the rappers to your conferences, do all of that, but fam, my peer, we gotta draw a hard line. Why we're still calling each other this is because we're traumatized from post-slavery stress disorder. Because think about this. This for everyone, mainly for the black community and its allies watching this. After our enslavement in 1865, and after the amendment to our enslavement, right, our fake freedom, where he said slavery is abolished unless you commit a crime, that part. After that, where was the orientation had for black people, for Africans in America? For the formerly enslaved, after 2 million or so of them were set free from chattel enslavement and then sent off into the black codes, into Jim Crow, into vagrancy tactics, and Black Wall Street bombing, and the Martin Garvey UNIA disruption, and into KKK lynchings, and into redlining, and all that. On our way into all of that hell, in second-class citizenship and oppression, COINTELPRO, J. Edgar Hoover, the assassination of Malcolm X, the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King behind the photo right there, that the government was found guilty in Tennessee of that assassination. After our enslavement, chattel enslavement ended, where was the orientation for all the Africans to say, how do you come up off all the mental, spiritual, and emotional bondage you guys have suffered for 450 years? Where was that orientation? Where was that repair? So my point is this: we are unrepaired. We suffer from being unrepaired, from no orientation, from no therapy, reversing of all this degradation, of seeing your family split and seeing your men whipped and your women raped and your kids killed and hung on trees and called nigger and boy, the word we don't play with. So our community still says this word, Grant. Our community still says this word because we suffer from what your ancestors put us through. We're still healing from that. So much so, we are so traumatized and so sick as a people, emotionally and mentally, we still call us what our former slave masters called us. They invented the word and gave it to us, and we still call ourselves that, Grant. My people are still that sick. But because we're still that sick and that traumatized, it does not give you permission, anyone else of other family, tribes, ethnicities, races, walks, to come wallow in our degradation with us. All you can say is, I'm sorry, and how can I help? You can't get an N-word pass. You should not even desire, it should make you sick to your stomach to get an N-word pass or even ask for an N-word pass. After this lesson in education, I'm being fair to you. I'm not trying to troll you. Because you didn't even know. Most of my community don't even know. They can't even tell you what COINTELPRO is, what redlining is, the Tuskegee experiment was, what the Mood family bombing was, what the Black Wall Street bombing was. They couldn't even tell you about it. So my community doesn't even know how impacted and affected we are by what we've really been through. But nobody else has a right to feel like they can be insensitive. You can be ignorant until you're informed, naive until you're informed, but ain't no N-word passes, ain't nothing cool about the word. And to my own communities, my family, there's nothing cool about the word. It benefits. Think about this. If we have 10 of our sons, whoever on alive has a son, right? You have a son or a brother, comment in the chat. If you have a son or a brother, comment in the chat. I mentor young men every first and third Saturday here, and we call them young kings, all the young men 12 to 24, wise kings, all the men 25 and up. But imagine this. If we have 50 black men in this room right now with me, and we subscribe to a nigga is all right, it's okay, doesn't mean anything. That means that 7-year-old's a little nigga. That 9-year-old's a little nigga. That 13-year-old's a nigger or a nigga. That 17-year-old's a nigger or a nigga. That 30-year-old man's a nigger or a nigga. So you're telling me we have a room full of niggas? You telling me that that's how you want to be represented to the world as a community? Is that how you want your idols, your heroes, your influencers, your mentors, your coaches to see you like a little nigga? Black man? King? That's part of, we are the root of the problem. Because we haven't done for self enough yet to realize that our women's not bitches and our men are not niggas. We're kings, queens, we're fam, we're bros, sis. This is the solution. We replace this word, we X this word out, all of us do. And you speak some life into your family. Your family that's went through all this second-class citizenship and degradation and oppression and exploitation and police brutality and war on drugs and school to prison pipeline and mass incarceration. The real oppression, the police brutality, the real oppression, the Flint crisis, the real oppression, the food deserts, the real oppression. You take all of that and we start speaking life into each other to counterbalance our social degradation that our forefather Malcolm X called it. So my antidote, I go high level. Even though you don't act like it today, I'm still going to call you king or queen because I want to speak life into you. That's just me. If you feel like, hey, I ain't calling no another man king or queen, and that's just how where you at in life, cool, call him brother or sister. But there's a certain sector of my community, we're not monolithic, we're not one way. But there's a certain sector, like in the Jewish community, some people wear yarmulkes, some people wear their, I forgot what's called inside the straps. I'm saying fringes, excuse me, right? Some people are more Orthodox Jew, but then there's some Jews that lay back. So there's different parts of the black community, Africans in America. And some of us know our history, we know our value, we know our worth, and we take offense to our former slave masters' children, to those who had privilege, to those who were the majority here, those who benefited from our oppression and exploitation, us building this country, or anyone else outside of this country, anyone in the world. Honestly, I take offense to anyone in my community calling me nigger. I don't let my own brothers and sisters, kings and queens, call me nigger. You can't call me nigger. I won't let you. Not just Grant Cardone, you, black man. You got to refer to me differently. There are members in our community that don't use that word, don't like that word. I don't want my daughter to grow up a bitch or my son to be a nigger or my nephew to be a nigger. They're not. So the purpose of this live and this video is that for those who understand this or want to understand this or want to build and grow from this, we got to draw a line and we got to grow and elevate as a community. It's on us to save us. Staying a nigga, staying referred to as, staying endeared to it, what's that gotten us? How's that worked out? Now, we're thriving under it, I mean, but how's that worked out? What did the police see when they killed Trayvon Martin? A little nigga. What they see when they, Zimmerman, or the police that killed Tamir Rice, or Sandra Bland, or Alfred Wright, or Walter Scott, or Otis Byrd. What'd they see? Niggas. And we still running around wanting to be endeared to and addicted to being a nigga. So we got to draw a line and we got to make known, make vocal. There's a community standard. Like all of us ain't that. All of us ain't that. And no person that is outside of our community, you should be really honestly feeling sorry for us, feeling empathetic towards us, that we still stuck here. Not adding fuel to the fire like it's some cool shit, because it's not. The N-word ain't cool for a black man, N-word not cool for no man. That word was used against families, against grandmas, against pastors, against revolutionaries, people that gave their life so we could even be here and not be in the field, still your nigga. Don't you get it? We fought free from being niggas physically, but we still enchained to it emotionally and mentally. I don't need nobody with influence over my culture, my community, my family, my tribe, fanning that fire or not at least having the opportunity to be informed as to why it's fire. It's unhealthy. It's not right. It's not mature. It's disrespectful of ourselves, first and foremost, and of anyone else. To play around with our oppression, to play around with our Holocaust, to laugh and giggle about our genocide. Do you know they used to cut pregnant women open and let the babies fall out and stomp the babies? This for real. You know the hell that we've been through? We're not playing around with this word no more. Black community, family, Africans in America, tribe. If you know the smart thing to do and you don't do it, it makes you dumb. It's not smart for us to stay stuck here. Let's elevate, it costs you nothing. I have a call to action. It's not get my ebook, it's not buy my course. It's actually free. The call to action is dump the word, dump the N-word, evict it, and go adopt something new. I like king and queens, been saying it for 6 years now. It's amazing. My whole staff says it. Everybody says it around me. I don't know what they do when they go on their own off these grounds. That's on them. But they got to live with that. Let's elevate and raise the bar and imagine if giants like Grant Cardone and Patrick Bet-Davis, who pose to be allies of the community, that's yet to be seen. I ain't talking about being cool card and Rolls Royces and your hat cocked sideways. I'm talking about being a real ally of our community to help us end our political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation, to help us get the repair that we deserve and that we need. You know, the repair, the restitution, the repair aid, the reparation. You know what the Japanese Americans got for 2 years in internment camps? Or the German Jews got for a 10-year Holocaust? Or what the Native Americans got, indigenous folks here in America? Well, what the Africans didn't get: repair, orientation, resources. See, they didn't give us 40 acres. But we got the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, created our own funds, bought our own 40 acres. This is us doing for us. So what everybody can do as a call to action is this. Adopt one of these words for free: king or queen, brother and sister and fam, and make that your standard in your family. Make that a standard in your sphere of influence. Yeah, now I'm off that. Bro, it don't do us no good. I have the conversation in the barbershop. I converted 2 kings in the barbershop today, having this discussion. King is simple. If we all around and we say nigga all day, what are we? If we all around and say kings all day, how do we feel? If you call black men niggas all day, every day, you're going to feel like niggas. You say king all day, every day, you're going to feel more kingly. Period. Power of words cost us nothing. Let's rise.